And
The meeting is being live streamed now.
sure. Thank you, Satish. And let me start with the session. The participants will keep joining, and they will be seeing this even live at our social media platforms, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So a special thanks to all those who have taken the pain to join through Zoom, and also to those who are watching us live at our social media handles. A very, very good morning. Today we are here with another book launch through our Humans of Pharma initiative by PharmaState Academy. And in this discussion session, none other than 𝐷𝗶𝘃𝗲𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐻 sir is there. The book is written by our chief mentor and pharma veteran, Mr. 𝐷𝗶𝘃𝗲𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐻. And the book goes by the name, My Mother Was a Big Liar. Yes, that's the name. That's the title of the book. Do not get disturbed by this title, as you know, in the marketing, it is for catching your attention along with generating your curiosity to read. That is very, very important. Today, we all are losing our curiosity to read. We are just scrolling our mobiles. So I hope you take a break from that and read a book now. It actually entwines how an emotional tagline gets hooked with a true story. And that's where the expertise of Vivek sir lies. 𝐷𝗶𝘃𝗲𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐻 sir has revealed his memoirs in right from his struggles during childhood, school, and college days, and his professional life in this book. It is an interesting story about how he changed his career path. Just listen to this. He has changed his career path in the midst of his career and switched from pharma sales to pharma brand management at the age of 38, stepping down one rank in the hierarchy. And this was because of his passion for brand management. After that, again, he took a career path change 6 years before his retirement, when his children were still in school. He left corporate life to start his own pharma consultancy firm. The 39 lessons he learned can benefit anyone in pharma sales and marketing. I would say it goes beyond sales and marketing domain also. And it is presented as food for thought. So through this prologue, I would welcome the panelists also, but I would start with the Vivek sir and Veena ma'am. Welcome Vivek sir and Veena ma'am. And we will start with a prayer by Veena ma'am to her mother-in-law.
Sir, can you unmute yourself? It's on mute.
So please unmute. Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. So Veena ma'am, please recite the prayer at the start. And
this book was written, it took me about more than a year or maybe 2 years, but this was basically to commemorate my mother, my Ai, who would have completed 100 years this year on 8th January 2023. Now I request Veena to pray for her.
Yeah, Veena ma'am, please come forward. And yes, Vivek sir, yeah.
आई तुझी आठवण येते, आई तुझी आठवण येते, सुखद स्मृतींच्या कल्लोळानी काळीज का जळते, माझे काळीज का जळते. आई तुझी आठवण येते, हाक मारितो आई आई, हाक मारितो आई आई, मुकेले करू सुन्या दिशाही, मुकेले करू सुन्या दिशाही, तव बाळाची हाक माऊली, तव बाळाची हाक माऊली, कानच कानी येते आई, कानच कानी. आई तुझी आठवण येते, आई तुझी आठवण येते.
Thank you. Thank you, Veena ma'am. I hope Vivek sir would join in. Thank you, sir. Though I couldn't understand the language, Vivek sir, so you will have to, in a sentence or two, please summarize.
Basically,
about the poem.
remembering her mother-in-law, that is my mother, and the entire song was sort of a prayer in memory of
And the language is, sir?
Marathi. The
Marathi.
language is Marathi.
Thank you, sir. I'll have to up my language skills now. Thank you so much.
First learn Bengali.
And thank you to Veena ma'am also. So Veena ma'am will join in from another device now. And I would move towards the panel introduction. So along with the Vivek sir and Veena ma'am, we have with us Dr. Priyanka Vyas, PhD in Public Policy. She is a research scientist working on issues related to public health and environmental justice. She is university faculty based in California. Prior to moving to the US for her education, she was based in New Delhi, where she served as a business journalist for a leading financial daily. Welcome, Dr. Priyanka.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
Our pleasure completely. And not to forget mentioning, her father has written the foreword for this book. Welcome, Mr. Dhiren also. The next panelist would be Ms. Aditi Nadkarni, is Vivek sir's niece, a lawyer by profession who also happens to be associated with the pharma industry. Welcome, Aditi, and she has also written the book review.
Thank you, Dr. Swati, for the welcome.
Welcome, Aditi. And then we have Mir Arshia Zaman, identifies herself as a lifetime student of Vivek sir. She is a former marketing specialist from the Bangladesh pharmaceutical industry, having 8 years of experience. Most recently, she has relocated to Australia for her future endeavors. Welcome, Arshia. She has also written a review in the book.
Thank you, Swati ma'am. Hello, everyone. I am actually thrilled, excited, nervous, all the emotions I can feel at the moment to be here. Thank you, Vivek sir, for the honor.
Great. And nonetheless, we have Mansi Hattangadi, daughter of Vivek sir, an M architect from CEPT University. She is an architect by profession with her studio in Goa. The caricatures for the lessons learned that you see in the book, Food for Thought, those have been done by her. Welcome, Mansi.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the introduction.
So we have the panel ready, and we also have Ashok sir. Ashok sir, welcome. Would you like to say something before we begin today?
Yeah, I would like to hear from him. Yesterday, he was at the Kali temple, and at the Kali temple, he called me, and then he said, I want to pray for your book, and I held the book in the temple virtually. Thank you so much, Ashok sir. That was a very, very emotional moment for me.
No, thanks, Vivek. I think this is, many people might be thinking what Vivek is talking about. My mother is a liar. I mean, people would be thinking about. But I see this is your forte of how to brand something, not in a conventional way, but in a very, very innovative way. You're provoking people to really pick up this book from the shelf and go through it. You have created that moment and it's ringing a bell. In fact, I am thrilled that after the launch, can I pick up the book and go through it? I mean, this is what is successful branding. This is what is successful communication.
Thank you so much, sir.
Congratulations, Vivek.
Thank you for your kind
Congratulations.
words.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Ashok sir. This is how we also saw Vivek sir generating curiosity and actually, you know, attaching an emotional tagline to a real life story, true life story of his. So now I'll move towards some questions to the panelists. Panelists are free to answer, to interact, even ask questions which are not being asked by me. Maybe I'm missing something through questions. So please feel free to do that. And first question, requesting everyone to please mute. Thank you. And sir, first question to you. This is your 8th book, if I'm totally correct.
Yeah, it's my book.
Yes. And do you intend to write more, Vivek sir?
Oh my God. That's a very, very, very difficult question to answer. But one book which I certainly want to write, and the name of that book is 99,999 Excuses for Being Late. And I'm sure this book will be a tremendous hit all over the planet Earth. But speaking on a little serious note, book writing is not all that easy. You remember, Swati, the book, The Romantic Brand? It took me almost 3 years to complete, and I sent you the first manuscript. And within a week, you said, Vivek, I think nobody will read this book. Please rewrite. And then she explained to me, and then that book was full of stories and real lifetime case studies. And that took another 9 months. If this is the time which is required to write a book, now we can just imagine, I don't know whether I'll be able to complete the next book in my lifetime. And sometimes, you know, even finding the right title takes a long time. For this book, it took me almost 6 months. I had so many options, but this option suddenly came to my mind, but it took me 6 months. So, inshallah, I may be able to write a book. Let's hope so.
We all are awaiting, sir. So, yes, the answer is yes. But also, sir, you have mentioned in this book, and this is very important for all of us here who has gathered to understand what is there in the book and what learnings they can derive from it. During, in your middle age, when you were around 38 years, you changed your career path from sales to brand management. And that too, you chose one rank below the hierarchy order. How did this decision impact you? Why did you take such a decision? And that too, you shifted from a MNC to Sun Pharma, which was then, at that time, it was only a startup.
The story goes back to around 1983. I was then the district manager in Cartawalas, and I was based at Pune. And we had introduced a new product, Lincocin. Lincocin was a product of Upjohn, which was introduced in India under license to Cartawalas. And we had a trainer called Peter Rodriguez. He came all the way from USA. Just imagine, everyone, on one product, on one single product, he spent 4 days, each day stretching to about 10 hours. Now, what is more important? It was not just the technical aspects. It taught us how to be a good trainer. Because ultimately, this product, this brand Lincocin, was to be launched by the district managers. The district managers launched this this product, and he made sure that all the district managers who were present could present the training well. And that is why it took around 4 days. That was a tremendous moment for me. And then I realized what can be the job of a product manager. Yes, in those days, brand managers, I mean, even today, they are wrongly called as product managers. No one from the head office came to launch 𝐂𝐿𝐭. I really enjoyed this challenge. There were only two people who picked up the challenge of becoming a brand manager. One was Joe Braganza. He was then my regional sales manager. And as soon as there was a vacancy in 𝐾𝐢𝐬𝐜𝐿, he opted for brand manager. And I took his place as sales manager West in Mumbai. And when I was in Bombay, one day on the streets of Flora Fountain, I picked up a second-hand voluminous book. It was running to almost 700 pages, and just for 5 rupees. It was tattered, it had dog ears, and it looked as somebody had read this book thoroughly. I picked up that book, and the book was Marketing Management, and the author was Philip Kotler. And when I started reading the book, I was amazed. This is the richness of a job of a product manager. And I said, one day I want to be a product manager. But unfortunately, I did not have that kind of qualifications. No luck in 𝐾𝐢𝐬𝐿, and there was no such vacancy. No luck in other companies too, because my experience was all in sales management. In fact, I had an interview with Shankar Iyer, who was then the marketing and sales controller of Alchem. Everything went on fine. And finally said, I want to offer you the job of a national sales manager, but I cannot offer you the job of a product manager. I was disappointed. Then one day came the opportunity in a startup. I had a long interview with the owner. But the interview was with a difference. Rather than he asking me any questions on my knowledge of brand management, he started talking about the vision of the company, the product which it wants to launch, and what this company will be in future. And at around 3:30 p.m., he said, Vivek, we are soon moving to Baroda. If you are willing to relocate in Baroda, I shall get your appointment letter typed immediately. And that is how I became a product manager. To me, it was my dream come true. Although, of course, in hierarchical terms of the pharma industry, it was one rank below the position I was holding in 𝐾𝐢𝐬𝐿. But that is what I really enjoyed, the job of a brand manager. Thus began the second phase of my career. Dilip Sanghvi was truly a visionary. He hired Professor Tarun Gupta to train me and the other members of the brand management team. And that training was terrific. And then I realized, let me speak the truth. I soon realized why Tarun Gupta was also known as Terror Gupta. Had he not been a terror also during his training of me, probably I wouldn't have learned so much. We soon started taking the services of CMARC, and I met my other guru, and that was Professor Chitta. Now, for the next 3 years, as long as they were associated with Sun Pharma, Professor 𝐁𝐸𝐬𝐜𝐿 as a mentor. It was getting education at Gupta Mitra Institute of Brand Management. And fortunately, not only luck was with me, Lord Ganesh was also with me. And that is how I transited from brand management, from sales management to brand manager, all because of Lord Ganesh, all because of Tarun Gupta, and of course, the book by Philip Kotler, that was the turning point.
So that's the passion calling you, from sales to marketing, and then you giving an opportunity to do so. Thank you, Vivek sir, for sharing the thoughts. I will ask one question to Dr. Priyanka also. Priyanka, your dad and Vivek sir are close, very close friends, and also can you tell the viewers about the language used in this book, and any interesting episode in this book which you would like to share with the viewers? Because I want now to come the talks to be focused on the book, what is there in the book and what learnings could be there.
Thank you, Dr. Swati, for the question. So I had the privilege of reading the book. I had the privilege of getting the first few copies of the book, and the book is written in a very engaging style. The thing that drew me the most is the caricatures made by Mansi. It packages all the wisdom of Vivek sir from 30 years of his journey from medical representative to the vice president. My dad always tells me that smart people learn from the mistakes of others. And so anyone who wants to shorten this journey of Vivek sir from 30 years to 15 years or something must read this book, so you can get all his wisdom in a short time and you can progress much faster in your career. Coming back to some of the specific incidents in the book that struck me the most, and that is food for thought for me, was Vivek sir talks about how he was a mischievous child as a kid, and his mother warned him a couple of times, but then she would completely ignore him and she gave him the silent treatment. So Vivek sir talks about this was his first lesson in man management. So that makes me curious that how would you apply this lesson of silent treatment as a leader? And so if you have any interesting incidents to share about silent treatment, or how someone can use this to get good results from the people who are working under him. So that would be my first question.
In fact, I would just like to mention here at this point of time, 11 years back, Priyanka was also the editor, the language editor of my first book. She was then a young journalist in a Hindu business line of view, and she helped me a lot in editing the language, and she made it as simple as possible, so even a 6th standard boy could read it, understand it.
I'm flattered to hear that.
Priyanka, any other interesting things you would like to add?
So the other story that Vivek sir mentions in the book was how his mother always lied about certain things, but the goal was to protect her children and so that they would benefit from that. So for example, he talks about the incident of the shortage of rice, that his mother would say that, oh, like the doctor told me not to eat rice, but actually she would avoid eating rice so that she could feed the family. And so he talks about these couple of incidents when his mother lied, but the goal was to benefit the children and protect. And that kind of reminded me of like servant leadership. So nowadays there is a lot of this term of servant leadership, that how a leader would make sacrifices, or leaders eat last so that they can protect those who are under him and always take their welfare first. And so I was wondering if you had any lessons you would like to share or reflections based on how your mother lied, but it was to benefit others, and the implications it has in terms of leadership.
Vivek sir, your thoughts over this?
Yeah, it was really nice of Priyanka to bring in this topic. Yes, my mother was a big liar, but not in the real sense. She lied to make me and my sister Shubha comfortable. Just imagine sacrificing rice, our staple food, for 2 to 3 years, and eating those horrible chapatis, which are today fit only for tihar jail.
Okay. Yeah. So, Priyanka, two things I heard from you: servant leadership and how, to give the silent treatment. Any other point you would like to mention?
I will leave it for others so that we have enough time to, we don't run out.
Yeah, thank you so much. Next question to Aditi. Aditi, you are the eldest granddaughter in the family. Weren't you shocked to read the title of this book? And, grandmother of being a big liar, that is a big accusation.
That is true. The title is indeed very provocative. And like most of the panelists and Mr. Ashok also said, it is intended to intrigue the audience, intrigue the reader, and pick their curiosity so that they try and understand, try and pick up the book and see why someone would make such a big accusation. But of course, when you read the book, even right from the chapter 1, it's actually the story of probably every person who has grown up in the India of, say, 1940s to 1970s, the pre-economic liberalization era, which was survival itself was difficult. The food, shelter, clothing, the 3 basic necessities also were a privilege in those days. So being a parent in those days was, I could imagine, even more difficult. And like they've already discussed, every generation wants to protect their next generation from the hardships that the parents are facing. And those are some of the instances in the book. And then you realize that this is the story probably of every person who has lived in that generation. And I'm sure these instances which are related will touch a chord in every reader. So yes, my grandmother was a liar, but I'm sure every parent of the generation had to create these stories in order to make the life of the next generation comfortable. And also the goal was that the next generation has a better economic status.
Yeah, thanks, Aditi. You beautifully put the point forward. That's very nicely put. And I think Dr. Priyanka had to leave, so I will send her a message thanking her later. Aditi, also, can you share a couple of experiences from the book, which you found interesting from your perspective?
Sure, thanks. I think the whole concept of the book itself was interesting for me. Not that I have read a lot of, I am part of the pharma industry, but I am from the legal side. So maybe I haven't read those many books on brand management, but generally I know that management as a subject is a dry subject. It's a little theoretical and then it has practical, but then it's usually practical on the side of professional. But then when we reflect, every professional decision is a culmination of who you are as an individual. What are your value systems? What are the values that you have learned, maybe even as a child or even throughout your professional journey? So professional decision is not just a professional one, but there's just this you who is the person in it. And I think that's interesting. That's why I think it's interesting how Vivek sir has taken us through the professional journey interspersed with his personal moments. And there is always an underlying personal story wherever there is a professional milestone, be it a success or a failure. And I think the book is therefore interesting because it gives the side of why a certain decision was taken, because there was something happening in the family. And we realize that why certain people behave in a certain way in a professional atmosphere, it's also very driven by the personal circumstances of a person. So I think someone reading the book will also, that the sense of empathy will also come through, because this is how it's true, right? It's not just a management lesson, it's a person at the end of the day. So one of the instances which it's not so much of an emotional one, but a very practical one, is where he launched PharmaState in his so-called startup, the then startup Sun Pharma of today. In I think the late 1980s, he's described how that was the first brand which he launched, and PharmaState was the brand for famotidine tablets. And at that point, he thought that this was one of the best probably brand names, and he was mentioned how he's in love with that brand name. And how now, with the benefit of hindsight, he realizes that maybe that was not really the perfect brand name, because the market got flooded with generics, and because FAMO being a prefix that he used, everybody started using the FAMO prefix as well. So there were some 15-20 more brands of FAMO which sounded similar to PharmaState, and how the brand equity then would have probably got diluted because of the entry of generics. So I found it interesting that not every person wants to revisit their old decisions and what they found perfect decisions at that point. He's actually done a critical analysis of his own decision and put open to the audience some lessons through that. And also he's put the artwork of the PharmaState label, and he's shown how the way it was written, which he thought was perfect again at that point. Today he feels that maybe the way the brand name was written could have been revisited. So I think very interesting, because like Dr. Priyanka also mentioned, these are lessons which maybe people learn the hard way after making some mistakes in their career, but this book will actually offer lessons to them, what not to do, maybe what to do, of course, but even what not to do, so that we can avoid these mistakes in our professional journey.
Wow. Wow. You have spoken like a true brand advocate today and not a legal person.
That's the DNA which is reflecting.
Great. Thank you, Aditi. That was awesome. And it's great to listen to you. We would love to listen to you more. But let me move towards the next questions, and then we can have a good chit chat around the book, informal one. Arshia, this question is for you. Which is that one incident or episode mentioned in the book which you would like to cherish?
Thank you, Swati ma'am. I hope I'm audible enough.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Vivek sir shared this book, the preface, with me back when I was working. Since you already mentioned, I actually quit my very glorious career of a brand management team, which I enjoyed and loved, cherished the most. But yes, that pathway had a lot of ups and downs during my work life. So I used to ask a lot of tips and tricks, to him a lot of time. Whenever I feel, I used to, one part of, maybe who are listening, who are still working as in a brand management team, one part of our job makes us, at times, it makes us think that probably we are not good enough, or we are not putting ourselves enough. There are far more better things to do. Why cannot I crack it? And it basically happens when you're in the early stages of your career. It's kind of like a sugar rush. You want to prove yourself as a brand manager. You want to have a successful launching. You want to have a successful brand. You want to be able to tell yourself that I have established this brand. All of these things, you want to do it right away. So that's the first 2 years was for me, for my career. I wanted to be the first timer. I wanted to be a lot of things and wanted to be it in the same time. That is something you get from the passion towards this job. That is also important. But along the downside of this feeling is it makes you think at times, it happened to me. I hope it does not happen to anyone. At times it used to make me feel that I'm probably not doing right. I'm probably lagging behind. I should put more efforts. But actually you should, you are doing what you can do. And this book actually gives you that idea that it is okay. What you are doing at that point of time is the best version of yourself. Except that, learn from the mistakes, or try to find out the loopholes which you missed back then, and work on it for future references or future things that you want to do. So this book actually, when he shared first with me, I was working at that point of time. So I was like, wow, this is kind of like a guidebook. I can just pop the chapters and like go for this. Now I should do this. We all have difficult times. So I was like, yeah, this happened to me. Oh, I could have just thought this was done by this. Why did I put so much effort and cried and took so much stress? So this, for someone who's working in the brand management team, I would highly recommend this book to read, because now I got to know Mansi ma'am did the food for thought part. Those are the best things. Those are actually the points when you, if you don't want to read the entire book, just read that part. It will help. It helps a lot. So yeah, that gives you the ideal scenario of a successful career. And coming to the question that what incident actually is very much special to me, the special incident was where Vivek sir mentions that he was very much intrigued to join the Mukti Juddha 1971 war that held between Bangladesh and Pakistan. And he was so intrigued to be, and he was almost, he joined the team. And that was very touching for me because my father was a freedom fighter. So it brought me back to those memories. This is another magical thing his writing can do, that it connects the dots from the book to a part of your own life, and it makes a magic. So that was very special to me because it is something that now Vivek sir, I and my father share at the same time. So that was special for me.
Wow. So you touched across the borders, Vivek sir, through this book. Next question I would ask to Mansi. Mansi, you and your brother Vibhav, you both were still in school when your father took a big risk of leaving a cushy job and being on his own. So what were your feelings when he did this? And what are your feelings today? What were the feelings at that time? And yes, please, if you can share with us.
Yes, so thank you so much. So at the outset, I should clarify the food for thought. The caricatures were done by me at when I think a few years back. I didn't even know that the book was in the making, and it was just something that I could see that he was so determined to organize a graphic for that part. And I felt I could contribute a little, so which I did in reflection. I felt like I could have donated much more time and done it better now that I see how it impacts a larger audience. But however, yes, so there's undue credit where I'm getting that from. So I think I should clarify that it should all go to him because he was so sure of how to organize that section. Coming back to Dr. Swati's question. So Vibhav and me, I don't know, I don't think that I can speak on behalf of Vibhav, but we have always grown up with our father very passionately interested in whatever he did. I have grown up when I had run out of the few books that I was reading. I remember picking out all the management books from his library, which is extensive, and reading those. And we also have vague recollections of him, presenting. There was this calendar format style where you could present a product to your pitching to the doctor, and I remember being very young and him pitching that to me. And I don't know if it's a photo memory, but it is a very strong memory of him explaining, saying, so Dr. Mansi, this is the product and this is what it can do. And of course, and then there's this whole touring schedule that that did affect. I mean, we have had us sitting in I mean, I have a photo of me sitting in suitcases because he was traveling so much, and I am trying to get him to stay at home, and those kind of things. So we have always grown up with the idea that he's very deeply and passionately interested in whatever he's done and whatever he's doing at that time, including the moving around cities. And I think that that's always been at the background. So when it came to him leaving a cushy job, as you put it, I don't think that there was already this legacy of it being building up to this point where, that we would always, there was this belief that, yes, he is really enjoying what he is doing. So I don't think that we had any ramifications of that sense. I do think that my maternal grandmother and my mother shared there was an environment of an apprehension around that. However, I think that, it may have been a daunting move to make for him and for them as well. But considering the course that it has taken today, I think that that's a leap of faith that everybody took, and now everybody really, in reflection, thinks that it was the best that it could be. So, I think that we are glad that that happened.
Okay. And then, do you want your dad to retire? Vivek sir has forcefully put this question in my mouth. So, through WhatsApp. So I would ask this to you.
No, I don't think that we think retirement is the next step for him at all. At least I don't. I am starting to see, and through small glimpses like these, to see that, now he's found, while he does enjoy what he, the line of work he is in, he's found more meaning by sharing his learnings in these ways. There are workshops and mentorships and so many people that we have been meeting as his students and mentees, and the books that he's writing. So considering, the course of how impactful the route is, I don't think that we would want him to retire. I don't think he would want to retire. I think that there would be no stopping, because as they say that the journey is the reward itself and not the destination. Maybe it's not time to stop that yet. Yeah.
Great. That's so emotional and touching, Mansi. That's nice, really nice. Arshia, one question to you. You have decided to stay in Australia, right?
Yes.
Yeah. How is
Now
it? And
seems
what
very
is,
unfortunate.
okay, what is the message from this book which you want our viewers from Bangladesh to take home, and also for everyone to take home? And how are you feeling in Australia?
Okay. So, well, from the book, I would want to quote two segments. First, I have two lines. First is where in
Arshia, can you increase the volume? There's a bit of.
Sorry. Now
Yes.
is it audible?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, please go on.
So I would want to put two incidents from the book to answer this question, because for me, I had a very nice career back in Bangladesh, and actually a very fond of career for myself. I always wanted to be someone from the marketing side, and I'm blessed enough that I got that chance. So, but this sudden incident of me shifting to a completely different environment and a different country just happened in span of 3 weeks. I had, so it was a bit ups and downs and scales and what to do, what not to do kind of a situation. So this book actually, because when Vivek sir mentioned that I have to attend this ceremony, which is an honor. Thank you, sir. I had to read it again. So it actually helped me a lot, because of course I was having some issues, ups and downs, and what I had a career of 8 years. Now I have to start from zero because I'm kind of jobless. This was very overwhelming. And by the nature of my talking, everyone could sense that I'm a very nervous person. I get nervous very easily. So yeah, when I was reading the book, chapter 2, the line that he wrote, not everything in life will be something that you're going to like. God has a plan and God has a purpose for everyone. So this mail line actually had an impact back in my mind that, yeah, maybe this change is necessary for me to grow to something that I couldn't imagine for myself. So this book is not limited to just for pharma professional. You just have to, there's a sales boss. You just shift it with your boss. The scenarios just change and do what the book says. It will work. So this book has a larger impact on everyone. I hope everyone reads it to learn that impact. And second part that I want to mention, where PC Kosa gives some feedback to Vivek sir after his first presentation as a manager, where he was very nervous. So for a change, because I have never seen him nervous. So he says that neuroscientists mention that being little anxietyful, being little nervous, being little stressed is actually healthy for you. So what you do, you practice more, and then you practice some more, whatever you're doing at that point of time, and try to learn and get the in-depth knowledge that is available for you there, and do your part. So my suggestion would be for everyone who are listening at this point of time would be, this life is always going to be unpredictable. From my small experiences that I have, life is always going to be unpredictable. You can never plan everything accordingly. Something's going to get little messed up, or it will change into something that is always ends going to be a beautiful thing, because God has a plan to do. And you just have to believe in, you just give your best and do what you can do at that point of time, and just be yourself and do your best and practice a little bit more and some more and try again some more to make it perfect. So this is the take I would want to take from the book for everyone. Just read the book and take the positiveness out of it, because it will help you.
Thank you, Arshia. That was sweet, very sweet of you. And yes, you mentioned that you haven't seen Vivek sir nervous. I'll recollect the day when we held a 𝐓𝐢𝐿𝐴 session on PharmaState Academy. And on that day, 2 hours before we went live, Vivek sir's internet got, disconnected. And in the whole Ahmedabad, I think that was a situation. The Jio network just went off 2 hours beforehand, and he was so nervous, calling us up. Like, I said, sir, relax. We'll find out a way to, do something, and it happened. So I have seen him nervous only once at that time.
That is probably the 𝐓𝐢𝐿𝐴 sir, because he's a big fan of him. I can understand and relate to that point. I would have had a heart attack if that had happened to me, because I was an attendee. I wouldn't have to speak, but if that happened that day to me, I would have gotten a heart attack. I was in the hospital. Why could I not listen to this, despite knowing that there will be a recorded version of it?
No. So that was the only incident. Otherwise, yes, a confident mentor and guide for all of us here who have joined us. So the session is now open for discussions, interactions. Congratulations on the way, Vivek sir, for you. All those who want to interact, who want to join us in the discussion, ask questions to Vivek sir.
There are two people whom I would like to invite.
Yes, sir.
One is Prashant Menon, who is here, and Dr. Sunil Deshpande. Both are here. Can you just bring them on the spotlight?
Sure.
And of course, Vivek Sharma. We cannot forget Vivek Sharma, my namesake.
So
Vivek Sharma has also raised his hand.
So Vivek, first I would invite you only to speak up today.
Thank you. And sir, thank you for quoting my name. I am always felt elated. Thank you. So it was a good discussion, and I like the title, as you say, it's very provocative. So my question, sir, to you is on the same topic. And I have one more question. So two questions. One is, if you ask the brand should be treated parentally, right? There should be a motherly love to the brand, and there should be a fatherly love, both.
Yeah.
What do you think? Yeah. So what do you think? Because if there is a motherly love, it will be nurturing. There will be more nourishment to the brand. But if there is a fatherly love, then there is a challenge. You will give more higher targets or more bolder, attitude to the brand. So how you think this can be balanced well, and what is your perspective on that?
That's a very, very, very interesting question. Fatherly love and motherly love. And if a child has to be brought up, nurtured, both are required. Both are required simultaneously. And without the father or without the mother, just like it's difficult for a child to grow, so also for the brand.
So you say both.
Yeah, both are
So
required.
I want
don't
little
want
more
to be partial to
judgmental.
the father because I'm a father, and I don't want to be partial to the mother because the book is all about my mother.
Okay, so you smartly maneuver the question, sir. But I want you to be little more interesting, judgmental that, oh, I want motherly love, but it's okay. And my last question is from Aditi. You said management is a dry subject. Can you please tell why and what made you say that?
So because I'm a lawyer by profession and people tell me that my law books are boring. So that's why in retort, I feel that management books are boring.
So it's your book which actually people are giving the view, not on the management as a subject.
No, because I'll tell you, because if you are in management, maybe you are living through that experience day in, day out. So it may be interesting for you. But as a person who is not taking those management decisions, management subjects do tend to be boring. But having said that, living through a management experience is definitely not boring. When you are in a meeting room which has multiple functional stakeholders with the people who represent the management, and you are actually taking a decision, I'm not saying that is boring. That's definitely very interesting. And it's very interesting also that various now as management skills have evolved, it's not that people only who are doing management are taking management decisions. It is also people who, for example, in a pharma decision, there will be a quality, there will be a regulatory, and there will be multiple people who are taking management decisions. So that decision making is definitely very interesting. But an MBA textbook would probably be boring for a non-management purpose.
Got it. So thank you. And thank you, Dr. Swati, for inviting me. And thank you, Vivek, sir, and I will buy this book. I recommend all of us. Even I will have some sessions in my own forum, taking some chapters from this book, as I'm using one book which Swati, had a book show earlier. I will not quote that name, but I'm just saying, inspired from this forum only of what Swati runs, I am using one book for old brand, new promotion techniques and old promotion techniques. One book is there, which now this book is another one, a guidance for us, sir. We will use it. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivek. And wonderful question. Here are brilliant minds now in this forum. Prashant sir is there, Ashok sir is there, and Vivek asked a very, very important question.
There are
I'm
two
also
Sunils here. Dr. Sunil Attawar is also there, and
yes.
Sunil is also there.
So there are brilliant minds here now. Anyone who would like to take up that question, Ashok sir, Prashant? Yeah, Prashant. Father and mother.
Vivek sir, congratulations for yet another book, and thanks Swati for pulling me in. I was just texting Vivek sir separately. I know he will not check till the session is over. I have a couple of author-related questions for you. One from a very selfish angle, that someday this is also there in my bucket list, and I will make a move towards it. And the second is, you don't have too many pharma professionals who have written so many books, and the count is still on. And that was what Swati asked the first question to you. Are you working on your next book? So my question is, what does it take for somebody to start working on an authorship? What could be the checkpoints that you, as a very successful pharma professional, extremely popular person on the pharma circuit today, manage to find time, and what are your work ethics around this? That's the question that I would like to hear from you. How do you go about planning a book and working on a book, and what are the checkpoints?
As far as the thinking part is concerned, I start at around 3:55 every morning. 3:55 to 6 o'clock in the morning. That is my routine. I do all the writing work, all the thinking work, and most of the times I don't even look at WhatsApp messages or the mail. Then the second phase of my day starts, going for my morning workout. Today I go to a park which is called as Parimal Gardens, and my hobby is to play with the stray dogs. These stray dogs come to me. It raises my levels of oxytocin. It increases my level of dopamine, and that's enough for me for the day, that fuels me throughout the day. Then followed by lovely breakfast which my wife makes. Veg, non-veg today morning, I had Gujarati parathas, what we call as thepla, methino thepla. And this keeps you energetic throughout the day. So if I have succeeded, this only because of my better half. She keeps on inspiring me. She keeps on feeding me. And there are two more vital people in my life in the profession. Post my starting my individual assignment, one is Dr. Swati herself, from whom I learned what is digital, from a big zero to today. I can even give lectures on digital marketing or even on AI. And the second is Dr. Sunil Deshpande. I first met Dr. Sunil Deshpande in 2015. I don't know whether it's here. I saw him a little while ago, but he and me teamed up very well. They contributed a lot to my professional life post my departure from the corporate. So it's always better to have friends on whom you can rely. Dr. Sunil Deshpande is here and is listening to us. So, Dr. Sunil, what would you like to say?
Please unmute, Dr. Sunil. There is no voice, Dr. Sunil. If you can just check the earphones or remove the earphones from the system. No, we cannot hear you. Not yet.
You remove the earphones, then everything will fall in place.
From the laptop also, please disconnect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So very good morning to all of you, Professor Vivek, Mr. Dr. Ashok Kumar Bhattacharya sir, Mr. Prashant Menon, Mr. Sunil Attawar, Dr. Swati, Manasi, Aditi, and me, Arshia. When actually Mr. Prashant had asked this question to Professor Vivek, it actually triggered, it stimulated me to dwell in and respond to that, because I have been a partner with Professor Vivek almost for the last 7-8 years. And with respect to his work habits or work ethics, I can say that Professor Vivek said around 355. And in one of the, I would say, consulting assignments with a corporate, the mentoring sessions, the time at which Professor Vivek used to start off the mentoring sessions was around 3:57 a.m. in the morning. So very, I would say, logically, Professor Vivek used to be present in the mentoring sessions at 3:57, and probably the mentors used to take some time, in order to match his requirements of this particular time. So I have seen him with very closely over the years. I have worked with him. I have been a partner across various endeavors, and I can say probably to Professor Vivek that the next book which I expect, and which probably everybody it would be beneficial, would be a book on the professional journey of Professor Vivekananda itself. So probably that is something which will encompass a lot many areas which would be beneficial to various professionals. And if I'm given some time, Dr. Swati, more on this?
Yes,
Do I have a couple of minutes more?
Yes, please, Dr. Sunil. Yeah.
Thank you. So, what I believe is a book basically will reflect the author, the lifestyle, the thinking, the work ethics. So Professor Vivek's book, certainly it starts, with the title. And one of the, I'll use a marketing terminology over here, one of the USP of Professor Vivek, which is very, very, I would say, difficult to find in the modern era, especially in the era of maybe artificial intelligence or maybe IoT or virtual reality, etc., that he uses a very simplistic approach, in his communication. And still, he is able, to say communicate what is relevant from the reader's perspective. So a difficult subject, for example, like strategy, is actually made very simple by Professor Vivek. And that is something which I would say is one of his USPs, that if you read his books, you will find a very little kind of terminologies or jargons which are being used by him. And that is something which I would say that it actually helps, the reader to understand the manner in which the communication is intended in today's modern era. Second point is his overall this point can be brought up in the work ethics as well. One of his very, very important, I would say, virtue or ability is his observation skills. If you see right from 4 o'clock in the morning across to maybe even say 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, if one is in a conference or one is in a seminar, his observation skills are uniformly across all the participants across all the areas of what they are communicating. So he does not underestimate any participant or any of his colleagues on any point, but even today, he tries to understand it, tries to learn from it, and then tries to respond on it. So, there could be so many other areas, which can be brought up, but due to the paucity of time, I would probably stop up over here. I would compliment Professor Vivek Hattangadi. And also a book is, is a sum total of the contributions of various professionals, people involved. So I would also like to take this opportunity to compliment the other professionals, those who have been involved in this book. Of course, Mrs. Veena Hattangadi, the better half, as Professor Vivek mentioned, Manasi for her contribution in the caricatures, as well as the publishers. And if I left out any person, I'm sorry for that, but all the people, it's a roundabout contribution of everybody together, which actually creates, of course, with the thought process, the core thought process of the author. So I wish all the very best also for this book. No doubt, this would be another book in my collection, in my, personal library. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Sunil, for your thoughts. And Prashant sir, you will have to start. So inspiration will come maybe from this session, but you will have to start writing a book today itself. And, yeah.
And we would like Sunil Uttawar sir, who is here, to say a few words.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir, and congratulations on one more book. I think we all are big fans of yours, and everybody has learned something. I think I won't go much into it, but I would say that I've learned a lot from you just by meeting you and following what you do. And one of the things which has been a great inspiration for me is that you're a lifetime learner. You always surround yourself with people who are at least 20 years or 30 years younger than you, so that you are updated with the latest and the best, what is happening currently. And I think that's a great learning for all of us, especially as we grow and we, in age. It's something that I think if we do that, it will keep us going and be very understanding about what it is. I remember the way you like a small school going child, you learnt about digital marketing and then within short time became a master at it where you're teaching. I think your next book, everyone is talking about next book. Your next book is going to be about AI and its impact on marketing, because I think that's what you're learning currently. So thank you very much. I think you're making a great contribution to pharma brand management and also just the way you are. I think, like I always said, just looking at you and just observing what you do is a great inspiration for all of us. So we look forward to many more interactions and many more of these wonderful books that you will bring up.
Thank you, Sunil Uttama sir. And yes, any further questions to Vivek sir, or even Ashok sir, would you like to answer the question that Vivek asked? That question still remains unanswered.
Vivek
Yes.
Sharma.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Vivek has not, put the question under wrap. He's absolutely right that like a child grows because of the love and affection is both the mother and the father. Similarly, a brand is like a child. If I really want my product to become a brand, I need to nurture the brand in a parental way where I give the directions, the emotions. I attach the emotions of the brand. I communicate about the emotions of the brand in a motherly way. I get into the logical aspects of it, directional aspect of the brand in a fatherly way. So I think it's both the father and the motherly love and affection which gives synergy to build a big brand. That's my feeling, and I echo Vivek's voice on that. One thing is, I also echo what Professor Dr. Sunil Deshpande mentioned. I would like to describe Vivek Hathangadi as a living, inspirational legend in the industry. I would say not only in pharma industry, but I would say in the marketing arena. That's the way I would describe Vivek. I draw a lot of inspiration. And of course, the host, Swati, is a very, very big inspiration for all of us. He really provokes us to think differently, think innovatively, do things in a way where we can really add value to it. So I think it's a great platform for Vivek to launch your book and for Swati to host this event today. All the best. And Vivek, for your information, as I mentioned to you yesterday, I am witnessing this book launch sitting at the Kali Temple office.
Wow.
I promised you yesterday, yes. And I am sitting in the Kali Temple office and witnessing this brand launch. It's not a book launch, it's a brand launch which you are doing. You have gone back to the days because the title of the book is a big branding that you have done. It's a big branding. All the best to it. I'm really looking forward for a copy of this book. I'm really looking forward to it. Grab it. All the best, Vivek. Looking forward to more and more publications from your end to provoke each one of us to think differently. And you have got an elephant memory. You have got an elephant memory. I know. You remember the taglines of Divol and things like that. So when it was launched. So you have an elephant memory. And I think that's what's going to transform into in the form of more publications from you. More brands from you. I would say more brands from you, not books from you, but more brands from you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ashok sir. And Yes, I have learned from mentors like Vivek sir and you. And we will keep doing the good work that you both inspire us to do. Thank you so much, sir. And now I will pull two hands which have been raised into this discussion. Bharti Karpe, if you can just interact. Yeah. Bharti Karpe, if you can ask a question or please interact.
I think her voice is not connected. Let's take the next thing.
Divya Verma, if you can unmute and ask your question. Okay. Suhas, if you can unmute, is there any issue in unmuting or something? If you can write on chat box. Suhas, yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
This is Jaya.
Okay.
His wife. And I know Vivek. He is my childhood friend. You have seen him now. And I have seen him. We have grown together. And he is as lovely as he was before. He was born to be a successful man. He was born to be what he is today. And I'm so happy to be with you all and to listen that I have anticipated it when we were small children. And congratulations, Vivek. Congratulations, Veena. I'm so happy. And I know this is too personal, but I'm not from your field. But yes, he is going to be always a success, and those who are with him will be always great people like you all. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the lovely words. Arijit Chaudhary, if you would like to say something. Yes.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
In fact, sir, Vivek sir has been my inspiration also for a long time in this industry. I have worked with Vivek also, Vivek Sharma. Now, talking about the fatherly as well as the motherly love, what I would like to reiterate is the fatherly love is going to be required for the field people, because whatever is the thought process of the brand manager, it needs to be percolated down to the field. Once the field imbibe the passion of the brand manager, then there is no stopping the success of a brand. That is what I have learned from all of them. Vivek has also worked with me 1-2 years, and I was very much interested in his question. So this is what I feel, because the field, needs to imbibe all the things. A brand manager can ideate and bring the product to the market, but after that, for him to individually meet all customers is not possible. Now, due to virtual meetings and all that, to some extent, maybe the brand manager will be to reach a certain section of the customers, but to each and every customer, it is not possible. So the field will have to do that. And I think that is where the excellence in execution is required. And that will only help. And that is what I also feel regarding the fatherly love. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Arijit. Thank you so much.
That was good. And Vivek also messaged in chat box that it's rightly said, Richard sir. Thank you so much. So we come to the close of this book discussion session. Wonderful interaction with all the panelists today, and very grateful that Dr. Sunil Tawar sir, Ashok sir, Vivek, Prashant, all the brilliant minds in the industry joined us and discussed the book today. So any further interactions you would like to say something to the audience, Vivek sir, or something? And after that, we can close the session.
The only message which I can give at the end of the day is, please be committed to whatever you're doing. And please look forward. don't look at the past, because tomorrow many things are going to happen. Like, for example, one of them is on quantum marketing. If we are not going to be ready with AI or ChatGPT, I mean the generative AI, we will probably be dinosaurs. So my submission to all of you, especially the young ones, don't look at today, don't look at tomorrow, look at 1933, look at 1943. That's my submission to all of you.
Thank you, Vivek sir. I think you meant 2023 and
No.
19.
Yeah, 20, 33,
yeah.
20. Oh, yeah, sorry, slip of the tongue.
No, sir. Okay, one question is when this book is releasing. It is released and available for order, right, sir?
It's available at pothi.com, it's available at Amazon, and it is available at Flipkart.
Thank you, Vivek sir. For everyone who is watching this session, or they may be watching it recorded live, the book is available. You can order it at the platforms, and you also can listen to this wonderful talk that we had today with all the wonderful panelists, Mansi, Aditi, Arshia, Priyanka, and Veena ma'am, not to forget her. She is the person because of whom this book is here. So yeah, I'll then just close the session. Thank you, Vivek, for joining. Yes, great sense in pharma world, consistent, relevant books, content, and conversation. Thank you, Vivek, so much for the appreciation. It gives us a lot of positive energy to go on and bring more for the pharma people. One more thing, this World Pharma Brand Managers Day has been converted into World Pharma Brand Managers Week. So stay tuned with what is going to happen in 2024 around World Pharma Brand Managers Day. It would be a big festival that we want to celebrate, bringing more knowledge, more in-depth discussions at the forum. So stay tuned, follow us at LinkedIn, and you will get all the updates from our side. That's all from my side. Thank you, Ashok sir. Thank you, Vivek sir. Thank you, Dr. Sunil. Thank you, Sunil sir. Sunil Attava sir, for being here. Bye for now.
Right.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. All the best, sir. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are ending the session now. Have a lovely day.